Good evening. Welcome to the Animexcellence. My name is Marco. I will be your host here today. I am not the only weeb here at the table. Sitting across from me, we have...
Nigga, I'm not a weeb, but... it's DJ. What's up? I'm here to talk about some anime. But I can't talk about anime without my fellow Jay.
Hi, I'm JJ, and I am a super weeb.
This is Super Weeb 1.
Now I have to update my Twitter handle again.
I feel like there's levels to anime. Like the highest levels. No, I was gonna say body pillow, but that's actually probably like level 7 or 8. Like it gets worse.
No, because I
have a booby mouse pad now.
That's probably actually still 5.
There's
like good.
There's like auxiliary pathways. Because to me, I'm super into anime. I don't buy figurines. I was like, they're not my thing because I don't like toys that much. But, you know, I have like artwork. I like artwork. It's kind of like where I draw my line.
No disrespect to people that collect figurines, but it's just like now they sit in my closet. I mean, sit in my shelf forever.
Right, yeah.
And then like my best friend is all about it. Edward he's up to 3 shelves and he's like, I'm still buying figurines. And I'm like, bro, are you just going to have a museum by the time?
No, I'm like, here's a bait and switch. All right, no, this is a pro tip for those out there, and you're a weeb, but you know, usually coinciding with some lady troubles. Look, save the figurine buying until after you've already trapped them in a relationship. You got a bait and switch. Don't show him any of your weebness and tell him. He's like, oh snap, we've been dating for like 3 months.
It's too late.
Now you get back out. But nah, it's jokes aside, it's been so dope this anime season. I'm excited to talk about stuff today. There's been a lot that I've been watching. I know there's the new series.
There's been a lot that you were selling. Like there's at least one show on here that you were like.
I was pushing because I said I was like, look, yeah, actually, I do. So I do buy manga, but mainly because there's. I mean,
it blends in with the rest of my books, so you don't know that I'm a nerd until
hell no, gotta buy the manga because one day them One Piece volumes gonna be worth something. Lord knows. But nah, man, if you can't tell, I'm super hyped today because there's just like I feel like I've just been damn near drowning in shit to watch. I had a recommendation come through and I crammed through all like 11 of the episodes at the time in like a single day because I was like, damn, I put this off, but it's still great and it slept under the radar this season too.
I mean, I still was cramming today for this episode because there's
so much.
Yeah.
I'm not even put in perspective. I'm not caught up on Chainsaw Man right now. I've read it, so I know what's happening, but I'm not caught up because I was like, look, I've got so much I'm juggling, and what's actually been, and we'll talk about. You know what? I don't even want to spoil anything, but somebody put it in the chat. One of the biggest news drops in anime.
So big that even though Sam is not an anime fan, he was asking me about it. But Ash Ketchum is apparently retiring from Pokemon.
At the ripe old age of 11.
Fresh and young. No, for some context here, yeah. So finally, they are making.
Dude, I didn't even know they were still writing new episodes or whatever.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a while. They've had them.
They've been doing it for 20 years.
This season's kind of the coolest one, or one of the cooler ones, mainly because he was not restricted to a region.
Yeah,
he was literally doing it was like a giant tournament that he was competing in to become like the masters. Like the master trainer for all of it. And so he was flying around. He caught competent He had a real team this time. All of them were evolved.
He didn't release them?
He had a Dragon Knight and a Gengar. I said, thank the Lord, you have things that are doing shit. But no, it was really interesting because I didn't expect it from this. The reason I say I didn't expect it was just because I've been wanting this, and a lot of the Pokemon auxiliary content, if you haven't seen, is really, really good. Like they have this one series on YouTube that they've dropped. I'm blanking on the name, but it was for Sword and not Generations, but for Sword and Shield. Generations was really good too. But for Sword and Shield, they had one that was there. They had one based off of Arceus. That was like kind of paced in the past, that had really good automation, and they had that music video back in a while where they were just reminiscing over the game content, and that was awesome as well. So I think that the problem with Ash Ketchum is that it's kind of been restricting them for a hot minute on what the stories they could tell were, and I'm so glad that motherfucking yellow rat gets a break. He don't need to be in the show to be a primetime seller. He's also like, he's alright. But no, like, at least with this series that they ended off on, it was pretty cool because it was a tournament. You got to see a bunch of fan favorites. They were doing a bunch of nostalgia stuff throughout. And so I was so you could kind of be like, oh, maybe not. But then they just came out the gate and said, yeah, there's 10 more episodes, kind of doing a special. And then it's closing out.
Somebody asked if it's on Netflix. I don't know. I like I said, I thought they were done with this like a while back.
Netflix had like the first handful of seasons.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and they might have like the Johto journeys, but they're not premiering on Netflix.
So if I want to watch this, where do I watch? Is this on Crunchyroll too, or
Pokemon Journey? I don't know where it's on actually.
Sorry, guys.
I don't think it's.
You don't think it's Americanized yet? Like
No. I'm pretty sure whoever has the rights to it has a pretty tight hold on it.
Do they? Because we got Detective Pikachu 2 years ago.
I mean, in the sense that it doesn't.
The anime rights are pretty
until
tough.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if Netflix has the I Choose You stuff because there's a whole like in the movies he's in the newer movies it's like a different Ash kind of. It's weird.
Saying it's on Netflix.
Oh, did not know.
Right.
Pokemon Journey is the series of blah blah blah. It's on Netflix.
That's pretty dope. No, Rakeen, I don't want that nigga in this show no more. I don't. I'm good. He's cool. He's good. But I like what I
You
have
remember
been,
when you fought Ash in Gold and Silver?
that was not him.
Oh, that was not him?
No, that was Red. Totally different. That's the problem.
Okay, that's my problem.
That's the problem. Ash fucked it up.
I'm
Because
sorry they had the same hat and everything.
the manga for Pokemon is actually pretty crunk. Niggas die.
Yeah.
Pokemon are violent.
Isn't there a war?
No, maybe. There's a lot of fighting.
Lieutenant Surge served in it.
Yeah.
A
There's
Pokemon
probably a
saved
lot of
his life.
there's a lot of combat of fighting of
Yeah.
like between factions and things, and people are who are evil are just evil. But the other part is like a lot of people who follow the games. Those are kind of the stories you would want to see animated because the game protagonists are actually completely different and do not exist in the Pokemon canon or the one with Ash, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of like storytelling and stuff they could have done and elaborated on that they just weren't able to because Ash was the primary driver. So it's going to be interesting to see some of the protagonists like that whole Ash and Red thing is such a common kind of mismatch, but Red is a totally different character in the games.
Red never talked.
Yeah, never talks.
Sorry.
He literally shows up ... Even in the new ones, like when you match up with ... it's like man of little words.
No words actually.
But that's what but when you go into some of the stuff they have going on with the games and the stories they could tell, it'd be very fascinating to see what they do. The protagonists they have lined up for the new season haven't gotten much, so just interested to see how that pans out. But sorry, I've been dominating the conversation. JJ, any feelings on this Pokemon news?
No. Kind of just the same that you've been saying. Like, Ash has been holding back the show a little bit because I don't keep up with, Pokemon Generations or whatever we're on now. I did watch like all the YouTube shorts though, and those YouTube shorts are interesting because they do tell stories from different characters and stuff. There's one that follows Red. There's one that follows like a Detective Pikachu style character where it's not the actual cop.
Oh, look at
Yeah. And they're all cool, but you can't really tell those stories in the prime Pokemon anime series because it's geared towards a much younger demographic.
Yeah.
And, Team Rocket always has to blast off at the end. It's formulaic at this point.
I did see people really sad about Team Rocket going. Like, they were like, it's about time Ash leaves, but no, stay Team Rocket.
Now they can get their ass too.
I don't know why they were still around, like, when he went to, what is it? Johto. Yeah. It's like, wait. Shouldn't...
We've normalized adults stalking a child, and that's not okay.
Why are they still after Pikachu? At this point, they could have caught a Pikachu and trained it themselves.
Made it so much better. They're not even trying to steal shit anymore. It's like now they're homies. This season, they've been just homies. They've been in the background. They're cheering this. They always cheer him on during the championships.
Does Meowth still talk?
Yeah, of course. You don't lose intelligence. I'm with you. It's like, it's interesting, right? Because at least with the newer ones, they did up, like, I said that X and Y was kind of like making it more of an anime in terms of their execution. Some of the fights in that were like really, really cool. And then even in the most recent one, that Pikachu versus Charizard one that they had at the end, I mean, it looked really, really good. So they got some budget, but the type of stories they could tell were always held back. And it's not necessarily that you want a dark and gritty Pokemon game or story, but it doesn't have to placate to 5-year-olds. And that's not like, and a lot of your demographic of the people who buy these games are not that young anymore, right?
Right, yeah.
And so, you know, they can kind of have it treated like a normal, like the best anime are the ones where you can say, one we'll talk about later for a little bit, Spy X Family, or something you'd be like, hey, yeah, kids can watch this and have a vibe.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at somebody being like, they literally went to the Valley of Pikachus and Team Rocket, like, not.
Nothing. And it's like, but yeah, it's interesting. Marcos, any feelings on Pokemon stuff?
I was kind of out of Pokemon like for a while.
Yeah.
I did get back and with Pokemon Go like everyone else did in 2016. But
I still play it.
Dude, it's crazy. If y'all remember that shit took. I've never seen someone take over and zombify an entire world like that. I saw people I've never seen who've never touched Pokemon be like, I'm out here on the streets. It was like a zombie apocalypse. I saw people just run into walls with their phone.
When it first came out, I remember me and my brother were on our phones, right? We were zombified, and it was already dark out. It was like around this time, probably back home in Eagle Pass, and this was back before they updated it to tell you like near which Pokestop you can find the Pokemon. Like the tracker was bullshit. The tracker was like, it's 3 footprints away. Well, what the fuck is a footprint, bro? Like I don't know. It doesn't even point you in like a direction. I just realized that
they fixed it because I download the game once in a while when I'm bored. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, they did fix it. Like you can track things now.
Yeah,
before it was
you couldn't before. Yeah. And me and my brother were like, there's a fucking Lickitung 3 footprints away. And my mom heard us talking. She's like, well, I'm going to go out. Do you guys want to just like hop in the car? And so she just cruised us around the neighborhood like we were stalking children or something. Like, no, Mom,
like you were
turn
Team
this
Rocket.
way. Yeah.
Nah, dog, because it was crazy because you'd be out, like, no one questioned people walking for like 3-4 weeks, damn near a month. And you'd be out late.
Oh, we pissed off the security guards at the park.
Because they were like, damn, y'all taking all the good ones.
I mean, I was still in college when it came out kind of thing. So it was pretty cool to see that a whole community of Pokestops, like in the stadiums at Texas Tech, just because it was just like the stadium was obviously a Pokestop. And we were just fucking there, just spinning it and seeing what we could get.
I was in college at the time too. And it was crazy. Like you'd be in classrooms.
What was everyone's first on Pokemon Go? I think everyone got Rattatas and Pidgeys. Like, I didn't
get anything cool for a while. I had to hunt that shit down.
Yeah, I mean the starter, I picked Charmander.
Basic bitch.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I mean they show up.
I thought the real question was what team were you on? Because I remember when that mattered.
Oh, dog. Okay, what was it? What were the team names?
Valorant.
Remember Valorant was was that the red one?
Yeah,
Valorant was red.
Mystic is blue and Instinct is...
Yeah, I was Instinct because everyone was like, Team Valor, Team Mystic. Instinct niggas were like, what's up? I was like, Zapdos squad? Nah, but I know Deadass, it was like red versus blue. And I was like, man, yellow niggas be chilling. I don't even like yellow. But nah, I mean, Pokemon, like, no matter what, Pokemon's one of those things where I tell people all the time, no matter how old you get, no matter what's gonna happen, something crazy comes out with Pokemon, people who don't even like Pokemon are gonna play it.
The whole chat is Instinct.
Whole chat is Instinct.
Damn. They hate
y'all are leaders. Y'all are leaders, not followers.
Back home, every time we would see a yellow gym, like, what the fuck are you doing?
It was the weirdos. It's like the people that are like, oh yeah, I voted Green Party last election. That's what instinct was.
Bro, I used to have gang wars. I was like, show your colors.
Tyler, Texan.
I was like, cherries, blueberries, or lemons. You rock. But that was a little tangent because y'all
deserve it.
Y'all reminded us about the Ash Ketchum stuff, and sorry, Marcos, take the helm.
Well, next one, real quick. So there was a lot of anime. We're not going to be able to cover all of it, but this one is such a big hit that I saw people dressing up as Anya for Halloween this year.
We'll make this one quick.
Spy Family really took off. I think it was actually even one of the most popular stream shows on Hulu in general. Season 2 started in October. I can't add too much to this conversation because I didn't watch it myself, but just giving you guys the platform because, I mean, I didn't watch Bleach either, and we'll get to that too.
To answer this real quick, wrong show, but we can and I'll answer your question too. No, I'm kidding. We answer all questions on any show. When it comes to Twitter stuff, yeah, I mean, it's plain and simple. Motherfucker came in, chopped half the company, fucked up a lot of people's lives, and then messed with the platform and made it even worse than it was before.
Did you see him get dragged?
Yeah, I mean...
Like on Spaces, that somebody was like, what do you mean the stack is fucked up? Can you tell me?
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, I've kept up with all the Elon stuff. Look, just because you have a lot of money, just because you've been successful with one organization doesn't necessarily mean you're fit to lead another. And Twitter's already toxic. They didn't need someone at the helm making it more toxic.
And look, I don't know like all of Elon's history, but it seems to me that he's had like just this dumb luck perk where he comes into a company at the right time. He didn't invent PayPal, but he came into it at the right time, like right when it was about to turn around and blow up. Yeah. Same thing with Tesla. I don't know about SpaceX, but let's say yes for the sake of argument. Twitter was already going downhill. There was no turning this ship around.
Yeah.
He just accelerated the process. He just threw gasoline on that fire.
And I mean, it was like there were actual fixes and things they could have applied to Twitter that would have been prioritized, that require eng teams and development. And don't get it twisted, like Twitter was a pretty... There's a lot, like, I don't, like, cuts happen. Let me rephrase that. I don't back up any layoffs from a company where you're a multi-million-dollar executive and you're laying off people from jobs that you could possibly afford with your own bank. But I can understand, like, hey, coming to a company, there's probably a lot of, like, positions. You're trying to make sure that it's clean and operating and then kind of doing a refresh. You don't do it the way that he did.
No, like... I do think that Twitter was probably bloated to some degree because, I mean, he fired half the staff and it's still running. So...
Well, the issue that they're saying is that when it runs into an error, there might not be someone to fix.
Right, yeah, no, that's going to happen. But yeah, there was probably some degree of bloat there that he wanted to cut out because he wanted to make his money back. Like, I fully believe that he did not want any part of Twitter. Like, after he was talking mad shit, and then they were like, bet. Twitter was like, come on.
You can buy us?
We'll buy it. We'll sell it to you, bro. And he was like, all right, I'll buy it. And then the ink was starting to dry, and he's like, oh shit, this is going to happen. I'm going to buy this. And then he tried to back out. And then Twitter sued, and then he was forced to buy it.
And then he trolled people. Like... He trolled people on Twitter, which was admittedly kind of funny with some of the things he was doing. But he was trolling hard about actual decisions that were affecting people's livelihood and also affecting their credibility. Because the last thing you need on Twitter is... first of all,
Black Twitter safe?
Black Twitter's always safe.
I just was like... I've liked the points that a lot of comedians are making. This like when you're that rich, people are not supposed to know who you are. So Elon was the number one richest person in the world until Twitter took Tesla down with it because both of them are based on both their stock has gone down, so his pocketbook has gone down. Do you know who the second richest person in the world is? He's French. That's all I know. Like.
It's not Bezos?
No,
actually, it's Bezos.
Bezos is like third, but either way, Elon's now second because of his stock going down. But the richest man in the world is French. Like he's just this French dude that probably is a power, like an energy mogul. But that's it. Like he's you're not supposed to know where they are.
And also, like, you can't act like you're homies when you're the second richest man in the world and a douchebag. Like, look, either be a supervillain and just keep your supervillain shit and keep silent, operating silent. Be Bezos. Bezos doesn't operate completely silent, but we ain't hearing him on Twitter all the time. Or be a super saint, being like, these are the programs I'm working on. I'm trying, like, I know I'm wealthy and I'm trying to be better. And if you want to chat and have a conversation with it, right? Like the way he is interacting on Twitter, you gotta, like, you can't be, oh, hey, I'm trolling. Like, no, nigga, you are a billionaire. I'll go, like, your play decisions fuck with the rest of us. And that's not cool. But enough of that.
Right. So
Back to Anya.
Back to the Spy Family. Season 2. It's taken off. Not, who wants to take it from here?
I mean, like I said, I'll be quick on this one. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I mean, if you like season 1, it's just more of the same formula. You're still rooting for all of them to, like, make it. It's a really fun spin on the sitcom formula, because it is essentially a sitcom.
It is.
Like, but it's done in a way that we haven't seen before, like, in a while. This is almost like, this would almost be an episode of Family Matters where Urkel invented a machine that gave him telepathic powers.
It's kind of funny. America's kind of moved away from that kind of formula. Like in sitcoms, like they're not very warm. Like Schitt's Creek is not a very warm sitcom. No. That's kind of dated. But with Japan adapting that kind of warmth in an anime, which is what Spy Family is. Like, you still get moments of action and stuff. It is really fun to watch, to the point that, like, I got my family involved in it. That's the only anime that I've ever got my family involved to watch.
I mean, my girlfriend and I, like, that's how, like, I put her on to some anime. It was like, hey, watch Spy X Family, and she really likes it because it's charming. And I think the other thing is, it's one of the first, like, because I tell people, it's like, hey, if you like Spy X Family, there's about a gajillion other comedy and romance anime that just haven't caught the mainstream. Like, trust me, this isn't in the same vein, but you want to laugh your butt off, watch some Grand Blue. If you want to have some romance, there's about 1 billion I can recommend.
By the way, no idea how I would do that, but the idea of asking someone to marry you with a grenade ring.
Yeah. I mean, that's still one of the coolest things. But, like, they've brought a romance shonen to the mainstream. Not a romance, a comedy, slightly romantic shonen to the mainstream, which never happens. And now I feel like this will be really cool to see what other stories that they can bring to the top line, because some of the most popular anime and Shonen Jump are actually not action series. Right now, I think it's, and I'm gonna butcher the name, I think it's Riri Dragon or something like that. There's one story about this little girl who found out she's half dragon, and it's really, really killing it in Shonen Jump. So I'm interested to see some of the cool dynamicism they get from that. Don't worry, we get to that action shit later. But no, I mean, Spy X Family is just so good. It's like it's also really, like, it never looks cheap. It, like, they came out with the gate with good animation, good voice acting, good story, and it's heartwarming, and I think that it's changed up the script for a lot of people.
It's wholesome as fuck.
It really is.
Like, you're not sitting there and wishing bad on anybody. Like, you're like, you just want to root and laugh and see other people, except for yours, brother. Take a chill pill, my guy.
Yeah, it's true. Usually, like, in something like this, the headmaster, the principal, would be sort of an antagonist. But I actually like fucking elegance.
I started checking myself. I was like, is that a stain?
How would he know to bring 2 changes of clothes today?
He had another change of clothes. No, it makes, dude, it just, I think it's like, I actually think this is probably some people's first time getting to see because I think that sometimes if you've watched, like, a Naruto or a Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, or even One Piece to some degree, they do, like, some slightly, like, how do I describe this? Some slightly, like, not childish, but pervy comedy hidden note sometimes. Yeah. And this is, like, one where it's like you're getting to see, like, Japanese comedy, like, that's just, like,
And they're chill. He's chill.
They're chill.
He's literally Bond. It's very suave, this dude.
And there's a lot of and that's why I'm saying like a lot of like the funniest like anime's really funny, but I don't think they've ever really had some that hit the nail here, except for I think the only other series which has its pervy notes is oh my gosh, Konosuba, but that's not even I wouldn't even call that mainstream.
Right, yeah.
So I have a friend that was just like my pet peeve with anime is that I hate that the antagonist is always whiny. Which is true for a lot of anime kind of thing. And I gave them that. But it was like, Spy Family doesn't have that. A lot of the anime that we're about to talk about today does not have that kind of, like, whiny, like, no, I'm not strong enough type thing. Like, no, this dude has everything down from the get-go. And definitely recommend watching Spy Family. It's one of the...
easiest recommendations for you to watch and bring in someone who doesn't like anime.
Yeah, this is a good like starter if you're dipping your toe into the anime world. This is something that's not so over the top or I mean it does have some of the animation tropes that all animes
Anya's face
have.
is perfect.
Yeah. But there's not, any of like the typical shonen tropes or the typical fan service tropes. Like it's different enough to where someone who doesn't watch a lot of anime can still feel like a sense of familiarity with it.
Where I'm hoping to see some of his and in the manga it's not really like they've gone this I want to see his strength with how he's going to handle some of the plot pieces that he's mentioned. Because what I also think that's cool with Spike's Family is there's like darker undertones that they just don't talk about.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a whole ass war that they're trying to prevent. And there's like...
He's trying to prevent like fucking nuclear war.
Too late, fools. You guys hooked me on One Piece. I don't have time for
Yes. Can I chime in on that real quick?
Go for it.
Okay, look. As a One Piece fan.
One Piece. You're both One Piece fans.
The anime's cooking right now. It's cooking. If you watched last week's episode and you're a Sanji stan like me, it's cooking. It was delicious. Sorry, I'm having a great time in One Piece land. It's been, hey, look, I've been in the hood for too long. One Piece did not get that animation love like some of these other shows be getting until Wano arc. And JJ, are you on Wano yet?
No, I'm the last pieces of Whole Cake.
See,
like he's fighting the Mochi guy.
He's fighting Katakuri.
Yeah.
Get through that shit. Come to the promised land.
I'm getting there.
Come to the every episode be trending land.
I had to stop because of all the false shit that came out.
It's hard.
It's like, damn, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna have to put One Piece on the back burner.
And that's okay. I think everybody has a moment where you got to switch it up with One Piece, but not in Wano. Wano has been great. Anime's better than the manga, and I rarely say that shit. Oh, right now, only Wano Country. Only Wano Country.
I have this weird thing right now because of this whole heavy slate. Because there's animes that we're not going to talk about that I've been watching, kind of thing. But it's like, you know us, you know that we have Tommy here, and we talk about movies all the time. I'm behind on movies. I have not seen a movie since Wakanda.
Dog,
and I'm not probably going to.
I haven't had time.
Yeah.
I said I got shit at home. Talking about movies, I got Saturday. Saturday's my day for anime. That's where I catch up on everything. Because did I spin it up for the next series because it comes out on Saturdays?
You can choose whichever one you want.
No, Marcos, what's next on your list, man?
Well, I was gonna stick based on you convincing people to watch things. This was an anime that you were so hard on, like convincing. It's like, hey, dude, I know you guys want to do an anime show. We're gonna talk about this one, and I was like, soccer anime,
and it's not Super Campeones. I'm saying.
Now look. Okay, so
Sir,
I'm not
Captain Tsubasa perfected soccer anime in the 80s, and then I saw episode 1. I was like,
no, no, it didn't. Okay, so check it. Let me set the stage here. I am a Kuroke no Basket fan. Haikyuu's aight. Oh my god, I might get shot on the club for that. Haikyuu's aight. Sports anime, they're a fun time. Basketball, But you know, for me, the hype moments, that was Kuroki no Basket, and none could ever beat that, because when I watched that, was my first sports anime. Popped my sports anime chair. I went back. I read it. So I've seen, you know, Ayashi. I've read some of Ayashi.
Yeah.
I've you know, I need to finish Haikyuu. But I said, look, there's been a manga that I have been reading that the artwork in this manga is so crispy, clean, delicious that it made me interested in soccer. And did I spoil it? Look, talk about Blue Lock. It's great. Watch it.
I said soccer already. So
Go watch it. But sorry, Marcos.
Blue Lock is such a wave. Like, I know we're in the middle. The World Cup just ended, but they literally, like, the artists in Blue Lock helped make the jerseys for Japan this year. Like,
and collaborated on a bunch of marketing stuff. And I mean, it just became a beast of itself because people were trending.
I credit those 2 Japan victories to the jerseys.
yeah, beating Japan, beating Germany and Spain. Right.
100% only
After
because
Spain went 7-0 against Costa Rica.
I'm telling you,
Spain was coming off.
Japan had this book in their the manga in volumes in their locker. I have been singing the praises of this manga for a while because I think the artist, and I say this not lightly, there's Murata, who I think is just the best artist in manga. He's not touched. One Punch Man's artist. And then you have, like, you know, Taite Kubo, whose swagger is so delicious and delectable. We'll talk about him. Blue Lock's mangaka. These panels, the way that he does some of his scenes in the manga is so good that I was just like, no, I'm like, when you read the manga, it's almost like you're watching the damn anime. But don't look at too many panels, Marcos, you get spoiled. But sorry, Blue Lock, I took a lot of convincing. Marcos, what was your opinions when you were first going in?
I was like, all right, this is bad news bears with soccer. They lost the first game. All right, whatever. I'm in. Like, I can watch this. Nope. Not what I'm getting at all.
Then it became Battle Royale.
Because I didn't want to spoil anything because you got to get hit in the face with what Blue Lock's offering. But I was just like, yeah, it does something a lot different than other sports anime. Something that I'm a real big fan at. It says, fuck your friends.
They literally, like,
that dude's speech when he explains what the Blue Lock thing is gonna be, and he's like, yeah, fucking Pele said this shit. Teamwork, fuck that.
Japan has made y'all niggas soft. That's what he yells.
Teamwork has turned you into pussies.
That's that angry teacher that like everybody doesn't know that they need, but they definitely do.
Bro, I mean, because I think that he said, fuck a team, it's me. Think about me. Take the T and the A out of it.
It's literally the opposite of the lessons that Yu-Gi-Oh taught you. It's all about friendship, guys, in the heart of the cards. Nah, the heart of you, Yugi. You gotta get in there.
And I mean, they have to collaborate in instances, and it's very much like they don't even really say thank you to each other. It's kind of like a restricted thank you. Chigiri, the speed character.
Yeah.
Like when he figured out his shit, Isagi has been like his Isagi was his homie. Just like, man, I think you could do it. I believe in you. Yeah, that's true. The goalkeeper's like, I'm tired of playing defense. But like the moment Chigiri gets his stuff figured out, he stands up and is just like, nah, bitch, I'm gonna beat you. Thank you. Like I'm like, yes. Sorry, it's a fun time. I think that's the thing that gets me with Blue Lock. It's just a fun time that looks immaculate.
It looks amazing every time that they like. It's not as exaggerated as Shell in soccer, but the power, like in the moments of where like
their eyes do right. Yeah. Are you fully caught up, Marcos?
I'm fully caught up. Yeah.
So you saw that Asagi kick last time.
Yes.
And they said my hero got kicks, huh? Nah. But no, it is man, it's just a treat to see a sports anime that focuses on like something that I don't like, that is key in a lot of sports, which is, you got to be hungry for it. You got to want it. And, it's okay sometimes when you're like, it's building star power, which in a country that doesn't typically supposed to be happening.
Yeah, there's a expression in Japan, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's something like along the lines of the nail that sticks out is the one that gets hammered down. That's like sort of the mentality of the Japanese society, where it's like, don't stand out because you're gonna get the fucking hammer. And this is turning it around completely. It's like, no, stand the fuck out. Be proud.
Yeah, be proud that you're good and get better, and like put you in kind of in an area that like
Ego's got that Urban Meyer in him, kind of.
No, he'll kick the fuck out of kicking. He saw cheating and said, "They'll learn. They'll figure it out." And then he had the audacity. He said, "Man, I let you cheat, but you scum." He said, "You trash, boy. You ain't you." In the words of Tommy, you ain't got the ingredients, kid. And what then this one latest episode, so light spoiler alert, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but there's one big thing that he reveals, and then he also mentions the concept of like, look, y'all have had it nice. These people who are out there playing soccer in the real world, they don't come from the shit you come from. Like, it's a different mentality of where they're coming from. So I have to beat this shit into you so you can get a taste of what they're going through. And to me, it was that line. Like, I remember reading in the manga too.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, that's like, this author's being real, like real from the soul with it, because that's how it is for a lot of sports.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta want it. And a lot of the best players don't come from much. So they have a different sort of like, this thing I'm playing is all I got.
From like a small suburb, Yeah,
and it's like, this is all I got.
That's why Brazil was so dominant for so long.
Yeah,
because, like, the favelas were everywhere, and soccer was their way out. Like,
so, I can't talk about Blue Lock for too long without talking about Bashira. That was my favorite character. The crazy dude.
Oh,
Bakura? Maybe I'm saying his name wrong.
Oh, Bachira.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, he's not crazy. He's just slick with it.
He's got the crazy eyes.
He's got the crazy eyes.
Man, he came out, I was like, I play soccer by myself. Woo!
I mean, he's what showed Isagi how to like compete the first episode, where it's like, hey bro, this isn't like what you think it is, and let's have fun with it. He says let's have fun, but really it's just like he's being the troll Elon wishes that he was.
Just like, yeah, let's have fun, because if he he's like, yeah, soccer should always be fun, but like what and dang, I didn't even get to talk about him. And a protagonist. Oh, this is one of my favorite sports protagonists. It's not a matter of a ho-de-hum, woe is me shit. No, Asagi is out there to grind. And that's what makes it really cool. Because he is very much like, I know what my things are. And he's struggling, but he's like, but he'll say, fuck off, like in the middle of a soccer match, and be like, no, fuck off, I'm figuring things out. And he talks that shit. So these are 2 cores, right? And so we're getting consecutive cores, which means Blue Lock is not going away for this next season. You get it for another 12 more episodes, which is great.
Yeah.
13 or so. Blue Lock is one of the rare, well, not rare, but when I say it gets cooler with some of the stuff they're going to be doing, y'all ain't ready for it. Because with the next arc that they're going to be tackling, the second selection, that's when you get to meet like some of the actual I don't want to say, this is not really a spoiler. You get some more characters brought to the spotlight, and some characters that you've seen get more focus on. And so it's really cool because he's not afraid to shy away from just not showing Asagi for a while and showing what's happening with other people. And because, of course, the way that everything is designed, everyone has to have times where they're broken up, and it's really interesting to see how it goes. So y'all guys are you're in for a really big treat. And I'm hoping, what I've been thinking is they're going to show out for some of the things that you guys will see. So knowing with how good the anime has been so far, I am in full confidence that it'll continue to be amazing. And Quale? Shh, yeah. Yeah, Ren's gonna be cooking.
Well, on to I'm gonna leave our two favorite animes as the last things we talk about. So this is the one that has taken everything by storm this year. We're already seeing cosplays of these characters. The animation behind this was on point, and there was a big push to make this work. And it's Chainsaw Man right off the bat. I know you said you were not caught up.
I know enough. Don't worry.
I know. Are you caught up, JJ, or where are you?
I'm caught up.
Okay. So what I first heard about Chainsaw Man was like, this is a different kind of shonen from anything that you ever heard. Denji isn't concerned with being the best. He just wants to get treated like a person. And he doesn't express it in those ways. He expresses it by saying, I'd like to touch boobs. I'd like to feel human contact or do anything like that. And he's happy by the simplest of things, like
Toast and jelly.
toast with 5 jams on it or whatever the fuck he did. But it does look really good.
It's immaculate.
Oh, yeah. I'm having a lot of fun watching it. Because there's usually a big weakness, at least when it comes to the animes that I grew up watching, with the way that women are written. Bulma fucks off and becomes a broodmare, which happens to every woman in Dragon Ball.
We can be like Blue Lock. Fuck women. No fan service around. Well, there's one character, and they don't do it a lot in the show. In the manga, it's a little bit more, but they're like, no, here for some dudes, soccer,
Man shit.
Actually, talk about just to take it back for a second. They do club. If I was Shigiri, I'd be like, all right, y'all niggas need to stop this miss shit. Because there's one character in Blue Lock where they just all refer to him as a her.
I want to say that women are written good in Tenchi, but I never finished it because it was canceled after like 6. It wasn't canceled. It was just canceled in America after like 6 episodes. Because I guess it gets raunchier at that point. I'm not entirely sure why. No? All right.
No idea.
Nobody knows. But anyway, just to go back to Chainsaw Man, Makima and Power are probably some of the most well-rounded women I've ever seen in fiction in general, let alone in an anime kind of thing. Like, I did get shit spoiled for me. I mean, actually, I don't even think they revealed how nefarious some of the women are in, like, downright Cersei Lannister shit is going on in Chainsaw Man, actually. But I'm having a lot of fun watching it, and this. Oh man,
what do you mean? In the first episode, like in the first couple episodes that she was introduced, Power tried to kill the nigga. Like, it was quickly ready to trade in Denji for a cat.
I mean that. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah. But like they come in swinging. A nigga got hit vomiting in the mouth. These women don't care.
Oh, I forgot about Himono. So Himono is actually my favorite girl, but it is funny that a lot of people, because this whole anime is about just trying to get real human contact. Himono is scarred because she's done this job for so long and has watched so many people die. Denji, growing up like a penniless dude that's like basically grew up like a raccoon eating trash and shit, does not know what it's like to be treated like a person.
For sure.
But that is very. I will trigger warning, I guess, to put that out. Like, there is a moment where they kiss, and then the internet did get mad because there's like a 20-year age difference between both these characters. But it makes sense in the story, unfortunately. But it doesn't. I can see why you just turn it on, because they do shout it out. It's like, oh, why are you drinking at a bar? You're 16, and everyone's like, oh shit.
Motherfucker kills demons and is a peasant.
Right, yeah.
I think your age category kind of jumps at that. If you went through the struggle and
that
raised
would be
yourself
true
on the
if
street,
Denji was drawn like JoJo, but he's not.
He's not. JoJo, you got to remind yourself, like, Jotaro's 17, right?
I like that meme. There was a meme of like Arnold Schwarzenegger running, right? And they photoshopped Jotaro's head on him.
That's basically it.
Chris Hansen enters the chat.
Well,
I mean,
I'm excited to hear like that you've been loving it so far, man.
I have been loving it a lot. It just because it explores so much of that, like because it's different. Like there is no getting more powerful. He literally defeats an enemy because the enemy is like, I can't do this forever. Like I just the enemy just quits in the middle of the fight, kind of thing.
Ironic that the enemy was eternity itself.
But yeah, it's not. I think this is probably, unless I mean, I know the manga just announced with the last run that they're going to keep writing more manga, but
it was on break for a little bit.
On break for a hot minute,
yeah. When the anime came out, it was still on break, and then recently it.
Because what happened was, by when the time you get to the end of Chainsaw Man, he's like, it's part 1. You're like, oh shit. And
people were upset about that, but I was like, well, why?
I like what they've been doing with part 2 more, but that's just me. JJ, what about you, man?
I've been digging it a lot. Yeah. It's nice to see a almost millennial struggle protagonist. Like we don't have it as bad as Denji did, but goddamn, don't we all feel like that sometimes? It's
Hell
like,
yeah.
How much money is in my bank account? Well, I guess I'm just having toast without jam today.
I mean, that is
And
what
bro,
fiction
people
is
always
supposed
be
to
having
do.
dogs too. And I was like, hey, yo, how does that go hand in hand? It's like, let's struggle together. And like, no, let that nigga go to a nice house.
But
Technically, Pochita does more to pay the bills than Denji
True.
does.
If I was Pochita, I wouldn't have waited that long to talk. I would have been like, all right, I need jam. I need that sweet shit.
But just to sort of talk about something tangentially related to the anime, or to talk about it in a different sense, really. I'm really glad that it's as successful as it has been, because Mappa bet the farm on Chainsaw Man. Typically, anime is done by committee. So that's why, like, if you watch DBZ Abridged, it'll say Funimation,
Toei Animation,
Fuji TV, and Akira Toriyama. Those are all the people that have a stake in it. Right. Funimation's the only American company, and they just have the license. But Fuji TV, Akira Toriyama, and Toei Animation, they all chipped in to make Dragon Ball, the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Chainsaw Man, Mappa said, hey, let us do it, and we'll do it for free. Just give us a bigger piece. So if it wasn't as successful as it has been,
Yeah.
it's essentially the end of Mappa. We would have lost this anime studio.
I mean, I don't know how true memes are, but I've heard Mappa's going the other way, and it's like, we'll do Vinland Saga, we'll do One Punch Man, we'll do...
Well,
In Mappa, I trust.
they played it really smart because, yeah, they essentially threw everything at Jujutsu Kaisen so that they could have a nice big lump sum that they could throw at something else that they would completely finance themselves, right? So that's why they were able to do that with Chainsaw Man.
And I mean, to your point earlier, where I said, a woman character is written well. I think, like, the old school example I usually use is Bleach. I think Bleach does handle women the best, except for Orihime. But aside of that,
See, I didn't watch Bleach, so that's the only, like...
I'm gonna save that cherry. But the other one is Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's both of them.
They are really written well in Jujutsu Kaisen. The sister rivalry is the most believable sibling rivalry outside of, like, not to hark on Game of Thrones nuts again, Tyrion and Cersei Lannister. Like, it's that believable kind of thing and fun.
Nah, dude, I was straight up like, that was the first time I had that whole simping thing clicked in my head. I said, I'm a Maki sim. I am. Let me live. Those glasses do something.
Those glasses and her like down to earth attitude, where it's just like, I'm not that strong, but you're not much better than me. Fuck you.
When you get to some of the Maki stuff in the manga, your brain's gonna break. Because when I say climbing up the ranks of most well-written woman character in that manga. But in the same vein of simps, I'm tackling Chainsaw Man from that direction. Makima simps. There's a lot of cosplay for a woman who wears just a suit pants, a tie, and
yeah, and a ponytail.
Now, admittedly, y'all cosplayers look real good.
I feel so bad and I'm sorry because I know I got so into Chainsaw Man that I started reading like plot philosophies and stuff like that because it does exist, because Denji's a different kind of character, and it's like, no, Makima is literally written for people that are just like, oh, you've been alone all your life. Let me come help you. Let me be your chosen one.
Yeah, let me be that person. Because you could tell,
not me. I only sleep with Nobel laureates.
What I think is cool with Chainsaw Man, and just to get my opinions out there, of course, the Chainsaw. So I'm gonna be real with y'all. Chainsaw Man, the manga, that first part, I didn't hold it to the pedestal that a lot of people did. It wasn't me being jaded. I just thought it was cool.
I'm gonna bring this up later, but I wasn't expecting my favorite anime of the season so far to be my favorite anime of the season so far.
Well, I mean, they did some different shit. They came out and said, but sorry.
Going back to Chainsaw Man kind of starting off slow, I was really worried for Mappa.
Yeah.
When those first, few episodes rolled out, because I was like, I know it starts off kind of slow. But then, episode 2 came out, and I was like, oh, shit, you guys just jumped everything that I had already read. By episode 2, is like, I don't know what's going to happen.
I believe the person that lent me the manga was like, fighting the bat demon is like the end of the third book. Yeah,
it's like episode 2 jumps 8 or 10 chapters. It's a huge leap to where I was like, I thought I was going to be fine, for this first season. I was like, I know what happens. I had only read, the free issues that Shonen Jump gave out. And I was like, I'll be fine for, a few weeks. And then if I feel like skipping ahead, I'll bite the bullet and I'll buy, the rest of it. But then episode 2 came out, and I was like, what? This is where I left off. This is literally, the last thing I read. I guess I'm anime only now.
They're pacing really, really well. And that's actually something that, when it comes to just a production perspective, man, you can tell the amount. And I mean, look, I know Mappa has some issues because of their time. The timing with some of the stuff and working wise. Please, Japan, just give Mappa all your money next to Ufotable, because let the Demon Slayer people spend their entire life just doing Demon Slayer. They're there. And if they want to come in and help out with One Piece, come on.
I mean, I guess that's something we could have done in the pre-show, which is watch the new Demon Slayer trailer. But
fuck no, I'm okay. I want to see that shit fresh.
I actually haven't seen the trailer either, but you said the last arc with Tengen is your favorite, so...
This arc's okay. I mean, I'm certain the anime will do it. I think the anime does it better than the manga a lot of times, but that last arc. But not there yet.
They're rolling out a world tour for the premiere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's going to be
in theaters.
There's going to be an hour-long special.
Oh, so I saw it was going to be in theaters. I thought it was another movie. I didn't know that. They're just showing
it's the first episode.
It's the first. Yeah, it's the first. Is it just the first one? I thought it was the first 2.
It's.
Oh no, first one.
Yeah, it's an hour-long episode. So
I might watch it. I might go to the. I'm legit. Might go to the theater.
I'm
just
totally
going to the theater. It's our job.
Okay.
Expensive, but now, Chainsaw Man has been incredible from a production perspective. Considering that Mappa's just so split behind different projects, but I don't think there's ever been a studio. Well, no. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be out there. Besides Ufotable, I don't think there's ever been a studio that has been consistently as good as Mappa has.
It's all the young blood. So part of the reason I think the pacing for Chainsaw Man has been so good, this is a little more behind the scenes stuff that I researched. The entire team behind Chainsaw Man is millennials. Like it's all dudes around our age. The director, it's his first time directing an anime. He's never been put in that position before, just because he's so young. Like he hasn't been in the industry for as long as like some of these veterans that they have access to. So that's part of the reason that it's been so good. The other part is that everyone who works on it is a legitimate fan of the manga.
Oh, that's gonna be really that's hard to catch, honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, to your point, I mean, it's Japan is not exactly a fan of changing old guard mechanisms.
Right, yeah.
Not their thing.
Ghost Tab actually brought up something that I did not notice until I rewatched some of the episodes today.
Yeah.
They don't have the same generic ending every episode.
Different ending every episode.
Yep.
And
2's my favorite though.
2 is really good. To that same credit, there's actually, the changing of directors and the flexibility with what they were doing is what made One Piece so good this season too. Like
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, like they just completely redid all of the composites and fired a company fired a company that had been doing it for a while, redid the base level of like their illustrations, and hopefully you haven't been spoiling anything for Wano, or not too much. But like when you get there, you'll just be like, the anime looks different.
It does. I've seen like, because TikTok will spoil me. You don't have to worry about that. Like my algorithm knows that I'm a weeb and it knows that I'm into One Piece. So every once in a while, I'll get like a clip from Wano. I'm like, this looks way better than what I'm on.
I've gotten clips from Guano.
And I mean, like the most recent episode is like the best example. I think it's one of the best. And of course, it has to be. I'm a Sanji stan. I'm sorry. I'm just real with y'all. Don't have any disrespect towards Zoro. Just I'm a Sanji stan.
Oh, I didn't know that. Ghost Tab is raising a good question. Do you think season 2 will have the same strength and dedication? Globally, Chainsaw Man has been doing great, but it's not doing great in Japan.
I think it will, because Mappa has, like I said, they bet the farm on it. So while it's not doing so great in Japan, the team behind it, or the team directly working under it, are fans of the manga, and it is, for all intents and purposes, from what we've seen so far, it seems to be making a profit. And since there isn't a committee that Mappa has to split it to, they're getting a bigger piece of that pie back.
I also think that Mappa, with just the way they approach their studio in general, I think they're one of the more attuned to international acclaim. Like, don't get it twisted. Toei just learned this. Toei just now got this. I mean, take it simple. That's why Dragon Ball shit finally got some fucking like superhero was shit marketing. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So Demon Slayer was what set the bar for focusing on international markets. Chainsaw Man has set itself up to. They're gonna get a movie. Of course they are. They'll probably do a season as a movie. Do I love it? But like, they're gonna get some cash. But it doing well internationally is only gonna flex its acclaim and what they're gonna market it for. And Japan's always finicky with what it likes because once again, that change kind of mechanic.
I feel like Japan is a small market though. Like I only base that on movies. Like, we don't care if a movie, as an American filmmaker, we don't care if a movie does well in Japan. We care if it does well in China because of the amount of people that brings into seats. So, I mean, I know there's an art and a ton of loyalty, but I don't think it matters if it does well in Japan now that anime is kind of international. Like, it might, this may be completely a wrong statement, but it might legitimately matter more of, like, did people in Brazil watch this versus did people in Japan watch this?
You would think that. That's a newer thing.
Yeah.
Because you would, like, a lot of the times anime studios kept on catering to, like, focus on, like, hey, if it does well in Japan, that's what all matters. right?
It's the same with video games, actually. Yeah.
And actually, 100%.
Yeah.
The only one that kind of sort of broke the norm with that was One Piece, and even then, guess what happened when they released their newest movie in like a wide audience, international acclaim, and put it on the big screen, which they would normally never fucking do. One of the best money-making movies for Japan. And so they're figuring it out. It's taken a bit of time. Demon Slayer was what really woke up the kind of, hey, you need to have some international acclaim in order to excuse me, in order to elevate it to that level. Yeah, and it's anime goes hand in hand to try and attribute those manga sales.
Right, yeah.
And that also is another avenue that I think that they still haven't figured out, right? Where they need I think that bringing the manga to the forefront is the other tipping point that they need to do for the American market, and then I think they've won out. But yet now an anime is like, how do I put it? That's so. In case in point, if you've ever questioned, anime sometimes spoils in its openings. Well, it's because it's assuming you're a fucking manga watcher, a manga reader.
Yeah.
Right? And if you've ever been curious, it's because they're assuming you've read and bought the manga, and they're treating the people who have and or encouraging people to go out and get it more. And so in the same case, now there's a lot of more ways to create and have money. And I mean, take it this way. Shonen Jump has, I think, one of the best just reading apps of anything. $2, $3 a month, and you get access to their entire vault of manga. And now there's a lot of more avenues that you can be like, hey, you know what? We need Shonen Jump stuff to just be doing good because people in America can just sign up to this app, have the Viz Media app, and we're making bank instead of having to just rely on those manga sales. So there's a lot of avenues they can explore now. It's a new age and a new wave, and I think that they're seeing how impactful. To be honest, I'm even impressed that Toei has been able to do what they're doing with One Piece more recently. I'm using them as an example because Mappa just has a lot of different seasonal anime that they can bank on, mainly because it took this is also the first time they've trended nearly as much as they have been universally, where they were number one. There was one episode that was number one in the U.S. trending. And so that kind of international acclaim, that international kind of elevation has been so quintessential, which not the last one, but the show that I know we and you want to talk about has done very well too. Chainsaw Man's dope.
Right before we get that, I just want to bring up one thing about Chainsaw Man because it's the funniest thing that I learned through TikTok is that Kobeni's car was more popular than Kobeni in a popularity poll.
Yes. I can't defend her.
That was my favorite random factoid about Chainsaw Man. Also, just another random factoid about Chainsaw Man that I thought was funny is that Power is based on a dude that stole the writer's bike.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was, she didn't steal the bike. She knocked it over, but she laughed at him. And he was turned on by it. She knocked over his bike, and then he was just kind of like, "Why did you do that?" Because I thought it was funny, bitch. And then
she went on to win a Nobel Prize.
Being the best.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. And then we're going to talk about our probably 2 favorite animes of the season. And just hold on. It'll be about a minute. Hey guys, we're back, and I think at this point, like I said, there's too much anime for us to get through. We will try to be better. I do think the spring just almost has just Demon Slayer and maybe
That's
a
the
couple.
biggest thing.
One Piece is universal, baby.
Yeah,
One
it's
Piece is
evergreen.
universal.
It's always there.
I am looking forward to the next anime by the dude that made Your Name and Weathering with You, but that's in April.
I think summer is good next year. I think that's when JJK's back. So. Whenever JJK's back, so anime will be good again.
JJK is great. But on to...
quick mention, if you don't mind me.
Go for it.
Another anime this season, Eminence of Shadow. Watch it. I don't want to explain anything. I
literally had not heard of that until right now.
Yup. See? Ghost tap. Eminence and Shadows. It is
Ghost Tab has been the most knowledgeable anime fan.
How do I describe this?
How do we pick up anime fans? Just for, like the people in this chat today are not normally in our chat.
Y'all came out the woodworks. We sounded the weeb horn.
We got to do the show more often.
We do need to do this show more often. On top of that, like, so I saw, I'm connected to her Twitter. I work on her social media as well. I was like, the people liking this are not normally the people that are interacting with us either.
It's how it works.
Yeah.
But Eminence and Shadow, think of it. Damn, I don't know how to describe it because I went in and that first episode will make you think it's something else than what it is. It's a lot more funny, but it's not just funny. It's an isekai where the character is very much
It's
like,
funny. Look how fucking dark it looks.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. You go in and it doesn't look as funny as it is sometimes, but it's not as
This is like when Edward recommended like the anime about the dude that gets sucked into the fantasy episode that was on HBO Max. Forgot the name of it, but it was actually really funny.
I've never seen it.
It's something Sakura, I think.
I need to check it out. But it's like a
Kubasaba.
he likes to be, think of it like a I want to be the MVP but like in the background. You know, and the way they handle some of the stuff, first of all, it looks really good. See, I would say it's like Overlord, but it's kind of not. But yeah, it's like you're getting closer with it. It's kind of, but it's a treat. It is definitely different than a lot of the isekai you've probably seen, with a lot of the flavor of the same things you'll see. Like, yes, women are gonna love this guy, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, the way that and if in case you're curious, yes, our Lord and Savior Truck-sama does make an appearance in this one. And even he's just he's just showing up for fun now. They didn't even they didn't even do this classically. They just said they show what the result on like the news. Like he was hit by a truck. I don't want to give too much away because I think that takes away from some of the fun. But Eminence and Shadows was one that I like binge. That was the one that I mentioned I binged in like a single day because I was just having so much fun.
Is this on Crunchyroll?
No.
High Dive.
It's on. I'll send you a link. Don't worry. But sorry.
I'm like I'm missing on anime all the time, and it's like I bought Crunchyroll because they bought Funimation. I should have everything at this point, and I do not.
Hey man, why don't you get all the? You see,
I do have Spanish dubs now, which I am very thankful for.
I am. By the way, on that note, like severely underrated, Chainsaw Man in Spanish dub is way better than English or like normal Japanese. Like I don't know why. Because Denji sounds funnier in Spanish.
Well, because once again, we've talked about this. In the countries that care about anime, and Japan only has one other rival. It's Mexico.
Denji talking in Spanish is the only time that I believe that he's dejected. Like I follow the plot and the story, but Denji in Spanish literally sounds like medio pinche way. Like
Anya, like part of this is because I don't like speak Japanese.
Yeah,
so I don't understand it fluently. But when I hear Anya in Spanish, I totally believe that's like a 4-year-old little girl. But if I hear the English dub, I can tell that it's an adult actress making a child's voice.
Yeah.
In Spanish, I'm like, no, that's a little kid. That's fucking Dopey from next door.
How do I describe it?
Ghost Tab is all about it.
Yeah, man, it's great.
I watch my. I'm watching Japanese, but I also like. I know that, so I was like, if they had it in shown, I'd love to hear it. I could probably do Spanish dubs for a little bit. I think I know more Spanish than Sammy does.
Yes, for sure. He gets like mad like once in a while, and it'll be like very basic Spanish words like "babajo."
He's like, I don't know. No, dude, but. I don't know where you want to. Do you want to start this one? Do you want us to start?
No, you. So I think JJ should start. So this is an anime. So I'm not super familiar with this one. JJ said this came out of like nowhere to be his favorite. The only reason I can't talk about it is because it's just like I do not just need to see this season. I need to see forever and a half.
There's many a YouTube video that will just explain the plot to you.
Well, I would say so this anime is one that I would actually tell people to go back and watch some of it. It's really good.
If you can find a watch guide, I recommend a watch
Yes.
guide.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can also skip.
Like I don't even know what Bankai means.
Bankai?
Bankai.
Yeah.
It'll be your favorite word whenever you learn it.
That was going back to Japan in the World Cup. That was one of my favorite TikTok
TikToks?
memes. Where it's like Japan coming out of the locker room at halftime. Bankai. Bankai. Bankai.
So, just to put that in perspective, because we're already on it. If there was any phrase that I could say like as a top 3 thing coming out of anime, it is any character that yells out Bankai. Because the way there's always there was a character who recently did it, and she has one of the coolest activations where you're like, oh, it hits your soul every time.
I read this in post. Sam interacted with this dude this entire time, but he was playing our episode at his wedding. Like
Really?
all his
What?
groomsmen were all dressed up, and he was like, they're like, "Hey, these are my friends," and I was like, "That's like one of the sweetest, coolest things."
That's one of the dog. Damn, I gotta that cheese. I'm supposed to be cool. I can't smile like that. Oh, damn. Well, he gets a New Year's gift.
He gets one of Sammy's shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's how you get a shoe. Play us at your wedding.
Where's that hat that Sam got mad that I wore? Send him that.
But no, we're talking about Bleach.
Yeah.
Surprise.
1000-Year Blood War.
So, JJ, you want to set the stage for this one? Do you know everything about it?
So I actually fell out of the manga and the anime towards the end there. Like, I think Naruto was probably my least favorite of the big 3. I don't hate Naruto. I like Naruto. But
That entire last arc.
if you're holding a gun to my head and asking me to choose one to die, I would probably pick Naruto.
Wow. Oh, dog, I wouldn't go outside if I were you. I wouldn't say that on air either.
1000-Year Blood War, better than anything Boruto has put out.
I mean, hell yeah.
Just saying.
Here's my
In
weird,
the end, I'm right.
here's my weird beef with Naruto. Everyone is more interesting than Naruto.
Yeah, that was my thing with Naruto too. It's like I don't really care about you, Sasuke, or Naruto, or Sakura. I want to hang out with Mike Guy and Rock Lee. That Neji kid's also cool.
Sorry.
The dude that can control bugs. Gaara is cool. Literally everyone that's not.
To quickly get through some of the problems with Naruto, and this is something that, oh my gosh.
Naruto desperately needs a Naruto Kai.
Yeah.
Like,
And it just needs One Piece does this. Bleach even does this. Naruto just never, ever wanted to like it started off like this and then trailed from it, where the other characters just faded off onto the side and were background and did not get cool fight scene, did not get anything. And coming to the last war arc, it's just Naruto and like maybe 3 other characters that are actually getting focused on. And that will always be its biggest kind of drawback for whenever you're like, if you don't like one of those characters, or if you're not really big on like even like the progression of some of those characters, then you don't really give a fuck about what's going on. Whereas
Right,
like
yeah.
One Piece, yes, everybody likes Luffy, but a lot of the times your favorite character is someone else on that crew and they're getting shine. And or there's other characters. I mean, shoot, let's talk about Law. Law is a main character and he's not even on the crew. You know, where you get to Bleach, yes, Ichigo gets a lot of shine, but everybody has a selection of their favorite captain, right? And like who they're really into. So sorry, take that away from you.
yeah, but no, like back to that point you were making where everyone gets a little bit of shine. In that first like major arc in Bleach, Uryu is the first one to beat a captain. Like, it's not Ichigo. Ichigo doesn't get that shine. Ichigo doesn't get that notch on his belt. It's the secondary character. It's the sidekick. Uryu gets that. He's the first one to get that big W. And then going into the Ichigo fight, you're like, okay, well, I guess this is possible. Like,
And I mean, Uryu's fight is, I'd argue, one of the coolest ones out of that arc.
it is, yeah.
But with Bleach, right? So Bleach in the manga and the anime, Orihime is
Orihime has issues, yeah.
yeah. But outside of Orihime,
Chad is the goat. He's half Mexican.
he is.
Doesn't Chad die? And like, because I did this one thing a long time ago. It was like, describe me. What anime character am I? And then a lot of people went Chad. And then
Wow, they're racist.
when
said-
there's only one Mexican character.
In all of Japan.
There's an entire army of espadas and arrancars.
And they bring in a nigga he has to come straight from Latin America because they play a lot of guitar and you're like, nah, there ain't no Japanese guy in the studio dropping these bars. But no, how do I describe it? So out of the big three, Bleach was the only one where its entire story hadn't either been currently being animated and or was animated. And there was a break between where the anime left off and where it's being picked up now. And the manga has finished. I don't want to spoil too much. And there is plenty of story that will be able to be told too. But it was but a lot of people had over the years have been kind of thinking like, when will Bleach come back? Is Bleach coming back? And, you know, Taito Kubo wasn't on the same page a lot with Shonen Jump. You could even tell with the way that how the manga ended. He says that he got to end it in the way that he wanted to. I still don't really believe that.
I don't.
I still don't believe that he had the time and kind of the want that Shonen Jump was like bringing to the table.
I
And you could just tell, like, as it was ending, it wasn't getting the hoorah that any other series would normally get.
Yeah. There's that. Like, Shonen Jump definitely has to carry some of that blame. The majority of it, I would say. But,
Well, I mean, I've heard on this note very quick, and it won't take too long. Shonen Jump just like, well, once in a while be like, oh, your cells have dipped and we're pushing you to end kind of thing, no matter how it has been. Like,
Yes. New series usually.
like, well, because they're pushing, like, the writer for My Hero Academia, like, had, like, it extended a little bit, and now they're like, no, you need a...
Oh no, that's actually his volition more so than anything.
Oh, really?
I think he's kind of been tapped out. And what's funny is there's a portion of the story I actually like more, but My Hero Academia B tier stays wherever it is.
That's one of the anime we're skipping today. Go on.
But yeah, I'm also not caught up on it, so...
Skipping.
But yeah, I think there was also a drop in Kubo's want to continue Bleach at a certain point. I think that Kubo had like his story. It was similar to the Cell situation in Dragon Ball Z, where or Frieza, if you will, where Toriyama was like, yeah, that's it. Like, I finished Dragon Ball. Goku ascends to Super Saiyan. I'm done. And literally everyone else that was making money off of it was like, no, keep going.
Not everybody's an Oda. And Oda even wanted to end off One Piece in 5 years when he initially started writing it. It's not 5 years.
Yeah,
And now he said, don't worry, sit down. It's going to be a while.
Oda's the exception to the rule, where I think he probably had an idea to keep it going. Like, he probably had some other things in the back burner.
I feel like he just kind of just thinks up some shit. And it's like,
Sometimes it do feel that way.
he's just like, I want an arc off of this, and I'm going to do it.
But the person who I think coming up with something like on the fly is how you get, no, actually, the Uchihas were evil. So that's someone who is like, ah, fuck, I'm out of ideas and they want more. Whereas Oda, I'm like, too much of this is lining up for it to be coincidence, bro. Like,
No, for me, where I feel like it's when he gets to the grand line that I'm like, I think that he just was like, nah, I got an epic on my hands I want to write. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, with Bleach.
But no, yeah.
No, this is y'all's time to just fucking run with it.
But man, Bleach. If you had told me at this time last year, I was hyped for the 1,000-Year Blood War because
Yeah.
Same here.
at that point I had already like fallen off of the manga. Like I didn't read it anymore. The anime didn't cover it, so I was like, I'm completely new to this, and I do miss Bleach. Yeah, I'll check it out. That was my mindset going into it. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll probably, have some good nostalgia feels. I'll get some member berries out of this. But it won't be my favorite anime of this season. Fucking Chainsaw Man's there.
I was just
My hero.
Blue Lock was right there. I said, that's gonna be mine.
I didn't know you were my hero, dude, till right now.
Yeah, I like My Hero.
Keep it at like.
Me and my brother got our cheeks clapped as All Might and Deku in Fortnite. We got wrecked. But
TJ notoriously hates my hero.
I don't hate it. It just it ain't it.
it's your Naruto. I get it.
Yeah,
I get
no,
it.
it's fine, and niggas can't accept the fact that I said it's fine. Horikoshi's okay.
Here's a controversial opinion that I've heard. That's pro Bleach, actually. That if Bleach had the animation that Demon Slayer had, Bleach would be way more popular than Demon Slayer.
Guess what happened? No, I'm kidding. I mean, if anything had the animation Demon Slayer did, like, you'd probably... That's not to say... actually, you know what? I'm going to call it out. Demon Slayer is an okay story. I think she's a really good mangaka, but I think that, like, there are some things there that animation definitely bandages over, so you're not thinking too long.
No, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely was watching that Tengen fight like, ooh, the colors.
Yeah. I care how that shit. I said...
So you were No Might and Deku. Yep, yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, the Demon Slayer manga was like, because I watched the first episode of Demon Slayer, then read all the way, caught up to the manga.
I didn't like season 1 too much, honestly.
And I don't blame you. Actually, no, time out. I do blame you. Stop it.
It was just everyone was more interesting than the main character by a lot. And then it was like, I'm just kind of dragging my feet, and then Inosuke shows up, and he makes everything okay for the last 5 episodes.
Tanjiro gets his in some of these later arcs. But, yeah, I mean, if anything, got Demon Slayer. But I think that...
So like I said, whiny protagonist, Tanjiro definitely was a whiny protagonist because he spends like 4 episodes trying to break a rock.
Well, in his defense, I think Tanjiro is one of the...
I could not break that rock.
I think he's one of the... I think that's a first season thing and not a continuous thing because he's one of the more chill anime protagonists. He's nice dude.
Season 2 or whatever, like him cheering on Rengoku, like he's no longer a bitch. And when he's just like, no, I'm gonna get your fucking head at the end of the last arc
Through his sword.
Yeah. He's no longer a bitch. But it is very hard to get through season 1. Season 2 is way and above, despite that. I do feel bad for people that really like the movie because it's like, well, good, you're gonna watch
it again.
Hey, they made money off that movie. That's how you got that season 2. So shut up. But
The Rock was strong.
The Rock was strong. It had a ghost and everything. I'm sorry, that is a really good comment.
That is really good. Actually, he did have a ghost.
It had two.
That nigga was catching cases. I was like,
You're not worthy. It had a ghost that was talking shit, actually, now that I think about it.
they never explained that ghost, by the way. With Demon Slayer, I don't want to take the wind out of people's sails. It is not my favorite ending, but it's not a bad one. It's just some of the stuff they do just feels kind of rushed and dropped. Not rushed, more so dropped. There were some like beats, but every story kind of goes through that.
Yeah,
My Hero famously drops a very important story.
My Hero does one of the most egregious offenses that have not been animated yet that I will not talk about until it is animated, but it is made. It is the thing that made me say,
I know what it is because I also got into that story to the point where I'm like, I'm not looking forward to this anymore. Right now, just so I can step into My Hero Academia, we are seeing a really sweet moment between Endeavor and his long lost son. I'm like, that is more interesting than anything that Deku is probably going to do for this season or maybe ever again.
I mean,
he went into Fortnite.
One thing I do give My Hero, and then we can go back to the good anime, is they handled the aspects of an abusive relationship incredibly well, and
yeah,
and and kind of like a redemption sort of thing. Pretty interesting, because I don't think that's never something that's tackled.
It's not really,
no.
yeah,
and it's not like you're like, because people are like, I hate and it's kind of justified where people end up on the spectrum, because it's like, I don't like Endeavor. And I can never like Endeavor. And and there's some people who are like me, where I'm like, I think he pulls off not fully in the anime just yet, but the redemption steps and things of that nature are really cool. So, because it's such a difficult subject to tackle.
I like how Endeavor's story though ends up in this kind of like, we redeem him, but he's still an asshole. So he's not.
He's not perfect.
He didn't go from Satan to Jesus.
No. It's just like he went from like Reagan to like Reagan made the APA, like
basically. But with Bleach,
right? Bleach. It whitens your whites.
Look, okay, so all this stuff kind of basically like leading to the launch of like the reminder, hey, Bleach is coming back, right? And I was like you, where I was like, I'm looking forward to it. And in the big three, this is like, there's one that's a clear favorite, and then this is where it gets tricky, because I probably have more nostalgia for that's tricky. Like I'm probably more nostalgia for Naruto, but when it comes to like an enjoyment perspective, there's some really, really cool stuff in Bleach, and it's in that like kind of Adult Swim brain part of mine where I'm like, it's just always going to be a vibe for me. So I like them both.
It just, to me, I think I was just like older at the time already. Like I was closer to Ichigo's age than I was to Naruto's age.
And I also think that's the other thing with Bleach. Like it was the only one where you could, because One Piece has very deep themes, but One Piece in America, we're not friends for a while. So you really were going through with Naruto and Bleach, and you're like, Bleach is that cool one. It's like the cool older brother of the big three, where you're like, we're swag. Yeah, there's blood. Yeah, they're like kind of slashing and fighting. So,
and it's got the Black Power Ranger in the dub.
And I mean, it also yes, that is true. And also as one of the strongest dubs.
Yeah,
it's one of the. It used to be my textbook standard for dubs next to DBZ, and DBZ sub is not good.
I was about to say, I thought Cowboy Bebop was the only one with like a solid dub.
Cowboy Bebop is different. Like that's a different tier.
Okay.
Different tier.
You don't. All right, it doesn't count.
But then,
sorry, they're still talking about Demon Slayer. Over
if you want to know what happened after that first episode of Bleach, I said, I remember why this was so fantastic. If you want to see some action, I was singing, dog. I was singing, cause they came out with a fucking bang this season. My God, shit! You want to talk about production value and also just cleaning up the story and taking time where it needs to be taken?
Yeah, that was.
They've been knocking it out the park.
That was sort of the coolest thing about this season, is that Bleach has always had its pacing issues. Even in the manga. Like, the anime more so, but even in the manga, it's like, all right, we gotta go raid the Soul Society. And then they get there, and it's like, oh, wait, shit, there's a gate. We have to train.
It's like they trained to get there and then trained more while they were there.
Right. I thought we were under a time crunch, bro. I don't think you have a day to burn, but all right, whatever. With Thousand-Year Blood War, with this return to form, it's like, nah, fuck that. There's no... I mean, they still do a training arc, but...
it's what's happening.
But it's after, like, all the shit goes down.
Mm-hmm.
when I heard the announcement and I was like hyped for it, I was like, okay, yeah, but there's gonna be a lull where it's like I could probably wait, 2-3 weeks for these episodes to drop so I could just binge them, and then I'm caught up, and then we're past that part. There has yet to be a fucking lull in the entire 10 episodes that they've released. It's just like...
And even where you'd expect there to be a lull,
yeah,
it is still carrying the punches of what you'd expect from this anime so far.
How's the animation? Like, does it hold up to JJK and everything else that we talked about?
It's different.
Just in the sense that it's
quality. It's real quality.
It's really, yeah.
I think this is one where I'd argue it is the illustration versus the animation that is maintained it very strong. Not to say the animation is bad.
Yeah, it's got super strong stills.
Yeah, so you can look at any one of these shots and be like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, spoilers. Stop.
Sorry. I don't even know who that was.
Stop it. Spoilers. If you're anime only, super sorry about that. But
for a second, I was like, "Oh, who's this?"
No, stop it! I don't want to spoil it for anime onlys. This one's a little tricky because the stuff has already been revealed for quite a bit of time.
Who's that Gogeta character?
Yeah, let's leave it. That's Gogeta 3. But no, they have come out. If you want to do a non-spoiler thing, you can do Unohana verse. Oh my gosh. Kenpachi. Just search up Unohana versus Kenpachi, and then that'll help you out. Bleach is looks immaculate. The soundtrack comes back, and they're crushing the game.
They remixed it,
and that's the thing I love. They remixed old songs, and you're sitting there, and I was ready for my jam to come on, but I wanted it pure, but I'm gonna take your remix. It's okay,
bro. When those violins hit with the,
bro, I have not watched this anime, but you're telling me this isn't a spoiler?
No, that's episode 2. I'm telling you, this thing comes out the gate like, yeah. You remember how old Bleach was like? We're gonna take like 5 episodes to get to the point. Nah, here's the point.
Their pacing is very, very good, but I also think that because Bleach was to me, when it comes to animation wise, what's the best out of the 3? I think consistent.
That's what the chat has been saying, actually.
Yeah, it looked the best before, and it came back on that same note.
They had the best intros. Like, okay, their intros were the first Bleach intro was my ringtone for like years. Like it's
a really good intro.
It is solid. But yeah, I don't remember. It was like a toss-up which I liked more, the actual animation of the intro, because the animation was cool, all the characters showing up and they were stylized and it was colorful. It was probably the most colorful intro that had been on anime for a while. It was almost like 80s MTV, where it's like, what the fuck am I watching? Did I just hit acid? Like, what is this?
No, because it was bright. And it was like a different sound than you expect from, because how you feel about that intro, I feel about the arigato ending. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Appreciation.
It's like a killer ending. Which those same people, of course, they did some Eureka 7 stuff, so I that's why I know I loved them. But no, like Bleach, like that's the other thing. Bleach was one of the ones where they didn't you didn't have signature clothes. They do have a signature There's a signature style with how the Shinigami look, but they change outfits. He's always been a style king, and you could tell that. Like when it comes to anime drip, it's not a contest. Bleach has it by a fucking country mile. It's also the one that had black characters. He had what anime growing up did you see a Hispanic character in?
Right, yeah.
And he was bringing all these things to the fold. So to see how it kind of went out was such a...
Screw that. Even in the Mexican dub, like Captain Tsubasa, you'd think he'd be like Miguel Huerta, but no, his name was Oliver Adam. So like even in Mexico, we didn't get a Hispanic character.
I think I don't remember who I was talking to. It might have actually been Key, but it was just like no, it was Key because Key was complaining about the anime filter that it would change its color tone or whatever, and I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but I want you to know in all of anime, like it's probably just Bleach that has drawn black characters like not as a cartoon character.
Yep. Literally, like they're cool. One of them's evil. And they just said like, yeah, I'm evil. But with this new anime, with this new season, they've been firing on all cylinders. You can tell the love that win, and you can tell Tite Kubo is adding in things that he wanted to before, and cut out the things that he doesn't feel were appropriate for some of the scenes.
He's making it make a lot more sense. He's streamlining it, and like he had time to think about it. Like I really feel that part of Bleach's downfall in popularity is the Shonen Jump schedule.
True statement.
Oh yeah, there were space Mexicans in Cowboy Bebop in episode 1.
Yeah, they literally wore ponchos and got the shit beat out of them for being rapey. I believe that I remember.
But it's really incredible to see how well Bleach is coming out the gate with what they're doing. And to be honest, man, I don't know if I could. It is the one I look forward to the most.
Yeah.
After One Piece, but it's the one I look forward to the most every week. And I mean, it's not even like yes, I want to see the next episode of Chainsaw Man. Yeah, I want to see the next episode of Spy X Family. Blue Lock is right next to there. I do want to see the next episode. They have some mean cuts with how they end off their episodes. I fucking blue balled us last week before last week's episode. That's damn. But I wasn't expecting to, and I don't think anybody was. If you had been a Bleach fan, like I was, I don't think a lot of the people who had been shitting on Bleach for a while, because it got a lot of the flack of the big three too.
Yeah, because it was the only one that was canceled, right? Like,
yeah.
In terms of the anime, this is the first time we're seeing this arc.
And a lot of people just instantly. We'll save that question for the end. That's a good one, but.
That's literally a scene countdown that I had in mind at a certain point.
Oh, well, we'll save that one. It's just I'm running out of words because I'm like I don't know how to describe excellence like more than it being excellent. And just like this anime season, it is definitely not a weak point. If you are trying to get into Bleach and it pay. Honestly, I know that you're kind of more on like, hey, just watch the lore videos. I'm more of a person. It pays off to be. Because you need to understand why so many people were hype for their return. It's not like a prequel. You're not going to understand some of the nuance because they don't handhold you here. They don't explain shit.
They don't. Yeah, that is a very valid point. It's not something that I would tell someone to watch like out the gate. Like if we showed a clip to Tommy and he's like, "Oh man, this looks cool. How can I watch this?" I wouldn't JoJo it and be like, oh, you could just start at this part. I'd be like, nah, bro. If you really want to start it, go to Hulu and watch all of this. But
it's good enough to where like it's a good story. It's not something that's worth skipping.
Yeah.
Until the end, in which case, Fullbringer, you can skip.
Yeah.
You can kind of skip.
Even though it's kind of plot important, but yeah.
It's easier to read than it is to watch. It's really good looking in the anime, to be honest.
It is.
Really well animated. But
I like that look. But yeah, no, if you just want to jump into it like as quickly as possible, just give me that 1,000-Year Blood War in my veins.
Yeah.
Then yeah, just watch a YouTube lore video. But if you want to have if you're willing to, wait it out and like struggle bus a little bit, not a lot. Look up a watch guide that'll tell you like which episodes to skip, because pacing is a very big issue with these early 2000s anime, especially in Bleach.
I can see that.
I rewatched, like, I ran out of 1,000-Year Blood War episodes to watch, and I was like, I'm still hungry for more Bleach. I want to eat this Tide Pod.
I want to eat the good.
So I was like, I'll rewatch the first major arc. It's on Hulu, and it was right there, like it auto played. I was like, I'll watch it. And yeah, like in the middle of us like going to this raid into the Soul Society to rescue our friend because she was kidnapped and they're gonna execute her, there's just a, hey, we know this is happening, but here in the Soul Society, in the other world, let's go back to the real world with our main character's two sisters and see what they're doing.
There's episodes you can skip. A lot of episodes you can skip.
There's a lot of that.
There's a whole arc that if you don't know that you got to skip, bounce.
You can bounce on the bounce.
Like if you don't know, you'll go into that being like, this is canon, huh? Because the anime don't do they were actually one that does this weird thing where they mixed filler and non-filler content pretty fluidly. So sometimes you'll be like, there's characters that were filler and non-filler arcs for a while. Them 3-ass dolls were there for a minute. And I was like, y'all are filler. Get the fuck out. But yeah, it's a tricky one. But I usually say the big three are always worth the journey. But if you really don't have time to watch all of Bleach, and you really don't have time to get caught up, spend all that time watching One Piece.
How many seasons of Bleach are there?
Anime seasons.
I think it's like 200 episodes.
It's like
Fuck that.
there's
Never
a lot of episodes. That's what I'm saying.
It's probably a little bit under, but that's the ballpark.
That's a good estimate.
Because some people are like, how many seasons is One Piece? I'm like, it's not a seasons thing. One Piece never ends. It's been going on. There's no seasons. Yeah, seasons are a new thing in anime. No,
Dude, I don't even know when Bleach started. Like I was, that just missed me because it probably came out while I was in the army.
It was
like there's anime. Oof.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a tough one. I think 2000.
It was early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. Like the bunk.
Really?
Yeah, it was early 2000s.
I think it might have been like 2006, like right when we graduated.
All right. Well, I didn't have cable then, so it's a different problem. But
That's true. Oh yeah, it is 366 episodes. About 200 of that are canon.
Oh, Rakeem knows 2004. So I definitely didn't see it on Toonami. That's my own problem.
It was Adult Swim, so that was probably. But sorry,
Not in 2004. I did have cable in 2004. 2004 was still Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop, and
S-Cryad.
S-Cryad. Yeah.
oh, bro. Y'all want to talk about some heat? Bro, I be sitting there. I be in my room.
Burning first bullet.
Bro, them niggas fought at the end, and they were just like, well, I think they're dead. Yeah, that's how the show ends. It's like, who won?
Speaking of high school, this is where I get into my own favorite anime of this season, just because I was like, man, this is perfectly written. A little bit of insider baseball. All of us are kind of friends or fans of Double Toasted. What that was once Spill. Spill has a blogger actually called Dr. Nerdlove, and a lot of people read Dr. Nerdlove's blogs, and it's like, man, I'm too old for this information, but I wish I knew this when I was 14. That's how I feel watching Mob Psycho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is one of the it talks.
I really wish I had a Reagan back then.
For sure.
Dude, I wish I had like this anime that's in touch with emotions in such a funny way.
Touch with emotions, growth, accepting yourself, accepting other people's flaws,
And it's a point that you brought up before, but just that whole thing about the Body Improvement Club, and like how supportive, just that entire that entire system is, that entire team is, and you're like, that's some shit that I was in my kid. We were bully people like that. You want to change themselves? You can't change. Stuck in your ways. Can't get better.
Literally so many times Mob has faced issues where he's literally like, it's painted in this really dramatic anime certain things where the city is dying, but really it's like it's self-doubt, and all he's doing is remembering, it's like, oh wait, but these dudes like me and these dudes like me, and I'm just like, that kind of moment of reflection is not something that I ever achieved as a teenager, but I definitely achieved it as an adult. But I mean, this anime is about a teenager just being like, oh no, wait, I do have friends. I do have like
I have these pieces in my life, and I can do these things to be better. And he's even like, he challenges himself to not rely on his talents.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's also like another like from a narrative perspective, it is very weird because it's the same dude that writes One Punch Man, but it's like I am very talented. I could probably conquer the world. Literally, the second season is about him fighting someone that is like, I'm going to conquer the world with my powers, but he's like, but can't you do other things? Like,
you can solve this other ways.
Yeah. But it turns it on its head prospectively from a narrative thing where it's just like, yes, you have all this endless power, but that doesn't mean that you're better than other people and it goes back to this real life thing that is not anime based where it's just like, what is the quote, the famous quote that's like, if you judge a fish by how it climbs a tree, then because the quote's about standardized testing, but it's like, if you judge a fish by how it climbs a tree, you'll never know how good a fish is kind of thing. And that's what Mob is. It's like, yeah, I'm really good with my psychic powers, but I'm very awkward. I like, he is self-realizing all the faults that he has as a person and working on them.
I'd even say that I think Mob is a true kind of example of one's, just even himself. One is not a talented artist.
No.
His drawings are not that great. And he's one of the biggest names in manga and anime. Shoot, One Punch Man is one of the rarest, not rare, but it's one of the few times where they have like a whole ass other illustrator who does it.
Yeah, that takes
because the story is just that quality. So he went through pushing past his limits. He's like, I can't draw that well, but I have these stories I want to tell. I know I'm funny. I know I can get this following. And he's had so much success from it, which is incredible to think of. Because if you were to tell me, hey, you can be a mangaka without knowing how to really be a great drawer, if you have a passion and you're trying your best, and you're putting your best out there. And he did that. And that's so cool. And that's the same thing that you get with Mob Psycho from a character perspective.
Mob Psycho is better written than One Punch Man, actually. The art is better in One Punch Man, for sure, at the end of the day.
Well, yeah.
No, Mob Psychos is like... One Punch Man is not about writing. It's about fucking fun.
It is a very fun, like, we're just circumventing expectations, which Mob Psycho also does. But Mob Psycho is literally about accepting yourself and accepting friends and kind of thing. Because literally his best friend is a liar. And
yeah, he's a con man.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to share that spoil.
And I mean, I think the other thing with that is like he also, how do I describe it? He Mob himself, and this kind of goes into that, one and Mob comparison. When it comes to that, they could have done the same thing with One Punch Man, where
For sure.
they did the art, they rechanged things, but they kept it genuine. And even when you look at it's because I think Mob Psycho is a tricky one, because if you were to show someone just a still image, like what the fuck type of psychotic dream is that? If you show them an intro, they'll tap out because they're having a fucking seizure.
Especially that first one, like, where the fuck does broccoli come from?
But they do have one of my favorite intros. The second one is great. But it's incredible to just say they stuck to their guns where we can produce an incredibly well animated show using just keeping it true to its soul, which is really, really cool. Marcos, this is your anime. Give us the loves. What have you liked about this season?
Well, this season had a very, like I said, last season was very heavy on Reagan, who was the fraudster kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But for this season, half of the season is the bad guy. Half of the season, the bad guy is also another friend, and he doesn't solve it by fighting him. He solves it by Mob Psycho 100. It's called Mob Psycho 100 because once he reaches 100, he's at god level power kind of thing. But he actually can let that power go kind of thing. He reaches it and then it's just it's a power wave for a little bit and it goes away. because he needs to build back meter kind of thing if you're a fighting game person. But he just burns the meter, this thing. And it's just like, well, it was going to get in the way. So let's have a conversation. Literally, it's solved by having a conversation. And I was like, that is one of the coolest, like, solutions that I've ever seen. It's like, but I wanted to fucking destroy you. And it's like, no, you don't. You made fun of my shirt, so now we're friends.
And it's one of those things where, I mean, it's just the balls to kind of go against the grain in the way that it did. And we were talking about before the show, like, if you were to walk into season 3, you'd be like, damn, the climax was in season 2, huh? And I was like, in a way, but that's not what season 3 is trying to do. It's not that there's no conflict. It's just a different sort of beat and rhythm that they're going for, which I think is appropriate because Mob is a different sort of anime.
Mob had, because we're gonna do these reward. Well, no, we already did it, but because it's a TV show. Mob had the most sad moment. I mean, I know it gets taken away at a certain point, but when he's in his sleeping bag, crying because he's like, I lost my friend, kind of thing, and I don't even remember how I lost him. I was like, damn, like it makes sense in the story. I'm sorry that's a spoiler, but like. It is one of the most powerful moments I've ever seen in all of media. And that's in a year where Everything Everywhere All at Once came out, kind of thing. But for the main bad guy to just be his negative thing, kind of his negative version of himself, it is a really interesting story. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, like Mob Psycho, for it being about telekinetics and stuff and ghosts, it's really a deep...
Human.
Yeah.
It's in all the craziness, it's incredibly in tune with being human. Exactly.
And it's incredibly close with like everything that is just about human life, because it's just like in like all of us grew up watching Dragon Ball kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh cool, it's cool, Goku, that you're the most powerful person in the world and can probably blow up Earth 5 times. In the Dragon Ball Z universe, he just gets Chi-Chi and it's brushed under the rug. In Mob Psycho universe, it's just like, well, your powers are cool, but that's not enough for me to like you, kind of thing. Like, it's
to be fair, in Dragon Ball Z, like Goku's one of the most powerful people, and he broke. I don't understand why. It makes no logical sense, but. Because I'd be like, yo, Boma, come on. I saved your life. Saved your life.
Save Vegeta's ass at least twice.
Yeah. He's only alive because of me. I got to be getting alimony checks.
I told Krillin not to stab him. Like, you'd be minus a husband and a kid at this point. Two kids.
See, that's why I like, a quick aside, that's why I like 18. 18 only shows up for money. Like the only reason she was even in the tournament, bro, she was like, Boma, pay me. Boma was like, all right. Like, cool. Gotcha. 17 was kind of in the same way too. But,
yeah.
Rakeem needs to nerfed.
Oh, it's
nerf. Yeah. Because I was like, you still spelled it wrong. No, but no, Mob Psycho. So I'm not caught up with season 3.
It's the last season. I didn't even know it was until I finished it, and I was like, oh, they're out of manga, and I'm just like, fuck. Because One Punch Man is literally still going, and it was before, and I was just I'd always heard the writing is sharper, and it is in Mob Psycho. Maybe it's just because it has an endpoint kind of thing. That's what's that's what always has attracted me to certain anime, like Cowboy Bebop. It's just like 23 episodes, 24 episodes. That's it. That's all you'll ever get. Maybe a movie someday, which they did. But Mob Psycho is a really solid story, and it has some powerful emotional moments in it that I'm just like, you need to check this out if you're a fan of anime. We cannot recommend it as a starter kind of thing because it's drawn so weird. And,
I would even, it's a starter for if you're a little. You know what? I'm gonna be a little bit different here. If you consider yourself in the weird and quirky camp, it's probably gonna go to your taste. If you're not in your first anime, it's not the first one to digest. But it's definitely, I don't think it's a far off one.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I would actually recommend a lot to someone who's coming of age, someone who is around Mob's age, and even someone who's a little bit older, like someone coming out of college. Because in this season in particular, where there was an episode where Mob was stressing about like, what am I gonna do like after high school? Like,
it's one of the first. It's I think it's actually the first episode where it's just like, so Japan works a little different from America. Apparently, I did not know that until actually Kotaro lives alone.
Yeah,
where it's just like, oh yeah, like you want to go to the best high school because that gets you into the best college. Like it's all a game of chess apparently from the time you're 13, and I was like, I would have been fucked.
And then it's a culture that's much more accepting of like if you don't go to college, it's not the end of the world. It's like a different path.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to Mob Psycho, they're like, oh, you need to figure shit out right now, and he's like, what now?
Yeah, and like, I still don't know what the fuck I want to do. Like, I still want to be a Power Ranger. That's still like number one on my career list. But they're not taking applications right now. So
they would if you wanted to. Holla at me.
But yeah, there was that one episode, and that really like kind of spoke to me a little bit, especially since I'm looking to get out of my current job, where it's like, yeah, what if I could do anything, right? Like if I were in Mob's, if I was in Mob's position where I'm like younger, even with all the knowledge that I have now, like even if I were to put my current adult brain into a high school JJ's body, I still don't know like what I would choose. Like what the fuck are my options? Meanwhile, like everyone around him seems to have their shit figured out. Like even the guys in the Body Improvement Club, he's like, oh yeah, like my parents run a farm, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Be a manga artist. My favorite thing about that storyline, because the story, when I tell you the storytelling and everything in Mob Psycho is so perfect, is it's literally contrasted by the 30-year-old who's our age that doesn't know what he wants to do either. It's literally
Reagan is my spirit animal.
No, it wasn't Reagan. It was the other like psychic that he was just used for his psychic abilities, and now it's like I don't actually have a resume because.
No, and actually, I'm still with Reagan because like Reagan was like, yeah, I like had achieved this kind of thing, right? And he was like, but it's not what I wanted to do, and now I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah, that's how I feel currently at my job. It's like I didn't ask for this. I didn't want to do this, but pays the bills, so that's what I'm doing.
Well, guys, those are our recommendations and a review of these fall anime. I think we need to do the show more often because we have banked a lot of viewers. A lot of people checked in. And when we're not covering 7 shows at once, we can be a lot more directed and in-depth. So we will try to do this in the future a lot more. Join us on Saturday for a pre-recorded Sing Countdown. It's just it's our Christmas fun episode. Join us next Wednesday for our sports show, and that might be it for the year. But either way, I'm gonna post to our Instagram whatever we got going on, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Before everyone logs off, wait, time out. Whoa, Fuego, get your ass back.
Tierra de Fuego.
Slow down. Anime recommendations, of course, for this season for anything we might have missed.
Yeah, I saw Gundam on there, even though everyone was saying it sucked.
Gundam Mercury. I don't know anything about it.
And/or most hype anime you're looking for 2023. So this will be the last show of anime to close out the year. So we, if you guys don't mind, we can chill for like 2 minutes. Come on, guys, drop those recommendations and/or what you're looking forward to.
Besides Demon Slayer, or throw that in there. I don't want to limit you guys.
With Mercury, is you all okay if you like? So my only issue, yeah. So here's my thing. I loved Gundam a lot. My issue is that I clocked out at 8th MS Team because nothing ever achieved that level of drama that made sense.
I do. 8th MS Team is my favorite.
Because it made sense.
That one and War in the Pocket, but War in the Pocket's like a small miniseries. I mean, 8th MS Team is as well to a degree, but War in the Pocket's even shorter. Like I think it's like 4 episodes. It's not long. Gundam 00 is amazing.
Well, yeah, they're actually recommending War in the Pocket. It's just like, oh yeah, you're already talking about it.
War in the Pocket's great.
The issue is just that like So I got into Gundam at the worst point, like most people my age. I watched Gundam Wing. And Gundam Wing was really cool when I was 10, and it's just not very cool when I rewatched it. And I'm like, once I learned that the basis for Gundam Wing was like a boy band,
Oh yeah.
then it's just like, oh, well, these teenagers love watching teenagers sing, and they like the Backstreet Boys, so we'll give them a Backstreet Boy.
That explains all the poses.
Yes.
Hell's Paradise.
Hell's Paradise. It's gonna be so good.
Vinland Saga. I am hyped for season 2.
You're gonna like Hell's Paradise. That's a you
I
one.
thought you were gonna tell me I would like Vinland Saga, because I already do. But yeah, I'm down for Hell's Paradise.
I mean, like it is. To give the premise real quick, think about it. A bunch of convicts are taken to an island to basically help out with the discovery aspects of this, or looking for this treasure. And it is not sweet. It is not people die. It's one of them ones where people die. It's a little depressing. It gets crazy. It's so good.
Yes, Rakeen. I am into JoJo. I still haven't finished the last couple of episodes that Netflix dropped.
I was about to say, we did review the first half of Star Ocean. Like, it's just a thing where
Netflix took like 2 years to drop.
it took 2 years, and it's like Bleach, Blue Lock, Mob Psycho, Chainsaw Man, Mob Psycho, Spy Family, and then Ash leaving. Like, this show is already clocking in at 2 hours and 30 minutes. Like, Sam's already going to be mad at me. So
We promised a short one this time.
Oh, Mashal. Yeah, Mashal I'm into.
Oh, Mashal will be really good. I think that'll appeal to the.
I think you'll like it. It's Harry
I'm
Potter, except like Harry Potter has zero magic. He's just super buff.
all right, I'm in. I am in.
Part 6 so far. It's JoJo. Of course, we love it. Mashal's a lot of fun. Dead Leaves is an old one. Dead Leaves is fucking wild. But that time I got reincarnated as a slime. It's always going to be a dope one. It's one that I did not expect to like as much as I do, because it is one of the ones that's like OP done right. And all right, I'm gonna wait for one more critical, super awesome recommendation, and then we got a Vamonos. And yes, it is
Slam dunk movie.
Oh, okay, good for you.
Quiero gritarte amo esta
All right, guys,
noche.
tune in Saturday. Like I said, we're going to have a Christmas episode, and then tune in Wednesday for the Commitment to Excellence. Complete opposite show, outside of the part that, like, we did talk about sports today. So I hope you have a wonderful day.
It's a
and
different kind of football.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Kwanzaa for the four of
Happy
you.
Hanukkah.